Hello, my name is Usman. Welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the Feiyu-Tech AK2000. So in a previous video, I reviewed the Feiyu-Tech AK4000, which is the big brother gimbal of this one. And one of the things I mentioned was that if you wanted to put on a heavy DSLR with a lens like the Sigma 18-35 on it, you'd need a big heavy gimbal. I was obviously wrong about that because the AK2000 comfortably balances that setup. And honestly, just because of that, this is already better in my opinion. This is smaller, it's lighter than the AK4000, and it can hold big DSLRs with big zoom lenses, and for that reason this is definitely one I recommend over the AK4000. So when it comes to balancing this gimbal, it's not any different from the AK4000 in that it's relatively easy. However, it doesn't have any lock mechanism, like zero lock mechanisms anywhere, which is a bit of a pain because I do enjoy having lock mechanisms in my gimbals when I'm balancing because it really does help with the process. However, I'm not going to say that it's a major detractor because I've never found Feiyu-Tech gimbals to be particularly difficult in terms of balancing, and especially when you're using like a lens like the Sigma 18-35, I can't talk anymore. When you're balancing this kind of lens, because it's internally zooming, it's really straightforward. As soon as you balance it for one focal length, it's basically balanced for all the focal lengths. Now, there are a few things that I don't like about this gimbal, but honestly, they're just minor points at best. First thing is the mini tripod. Mini tripod sucked on the AK4000, it sucks on the AK2000, really uncomfortable, hate it. Second thing is, this gimbal is still a little bit heavy. I know that it's supposed to be like the smaller brother or the little brother of the AK4000, but still a pretty significant gimbal. I mean, it's not exactly a small light gimbal, and carrying it around is going to be a bit of a pain, especially when I'm comparing it to the Weeble Lab, which we're filming on right now. The Weeble Lab is just an incredible gimbal because I can put it into a messenger bag and away I go. This one, unfortunately, still pretty large. But other than that, I have to say it's a damn good gimbal. When it comes to footage, this gimbal is actually really quite good. Even in these conditions where it was really windy, the gimbal did a fantastic job of keeping the camera as stable as possible, or about as stable as any other gimbal that I've used. And that's the main point here. Almost any gimbal that you buy today is going to be able to produce the goods, so footage isn't really the main factor when it comes to deciding between one gimbal over another. And this is why the AK2000 for me is a better gimbal compared to the AK4000, because yes, the AK4000 can hold more weight, but in practical terms, I'm never going to be putting a massive cinema camera on a gimbal. What I will be doing is using DSLR cameras and mirrorless cameras, and for that reason, a smaller, lighter gimbal is going to be more effective. This gimbal is also probably a more effective option compared to the Weeble Lab because you can't balance the 18-35 on the Weeble Lab. I did have some issues with this gimbal when I first started using it. I was getting some very heavy vibrations. However, that could have been just the fact that I didn't balance the gimbal properly, because since then I haven't had that issue come up ever again. Ultimately, footage wise, this gimbal is great. You might have to adjust your technique to get the best out of it, but other than that, it's a fantastic gimbal. Also, in the next clip, apologies in advance about the out of focus issues. That's the Sony there for you. So here's the thing, in one of my previous videos when I reviewed the Feiyu-Tech AK4000, I talked about how if you want to balance a large heavy lens, a heavy zoom lens like the Sigma 18-35 and a Canon 5D Mark IV, then you kind of need a large heavy gimbal. However, that's obviously not the case because the AK2000 comfortably balances both of these things, and it's a lot smaller and lighter than the AK4000, and just because of that, this gimbal's already a better option. It's cheaper, it's lighter, it's smaller, and it can balance heavy DSLRs and heavy zoom lenses. So for that reason, I really like this gimbal. I really do. It's probably one of my favorite gimbals, and I mean, although I wish that it was a smaller, even smaller than what it is, I can appreciate that that's probably not feasible, especially if you're going to try and balance bigger cameras like this. So on that basis, this is one of my favorite gimbals right now because one, you can balance mirrorless systems on it really easily, and two, you can even balance larger camera systems on it, so it just gives it more flexibility, and it just makes it more of an all-round gimbal. The Weeble Lab, probably one of the best mirrorless gimbals made so far, but it's only for mirrorless cameras. You can't really put a DSLR on that with a heavy lens. This one, however, such a good gimbal because it's a more well-rounded system, and for that reason I highly recommend it. Anyway, just want to say thank you so much for watching my video. If you like this video, hit the like button, please subscribe, share this video, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you.